Can't we just go one day without some kind of mass casualty event? Stabbing, shooting, hell, even running over innocent people with your car. We're just trying to live our lives drama-free, just like you. Nobody thinks you're the main anti-hero of the day anymore when you shoot up a school or run over people with your car. We get it, you're a loser. School shootings, terrorist attacks, those aren't cool anymore. Nobody thinks you're a deeply tortured, mysterious, yet slightly miserable soul anymore. We all think you're fucking losers. Should have done that 10 and 20 years ago when Western society was still optimistic and maybe hopeful for the future. So that's a story of a guy who stabbed multiple people to death in a major shopping district in Sydney. The Bondi Junction one, the one near the beach. So it must suck for the guy who committed a mass killing spree and ended up getting shot to death by a police officer anyway, that I'm not even really mad at him anymore. Instead, I'm mad at the awful, weirdly perverse and, I know, dare I say, degenerate way that all the news stations in Australia are even covering this story. This goes out to 9 News in particular. It's like they're trying to make their own snuff film out of, real life footage of a tragedy that happened. It's like they've still got the same sick fetish for blood and guts and terror in the suburbs that they always seem to do whenever one of these shootings happen. Okay, so maybe the other news stations, especially ones in the Murdoch media ring like 7 News, aren't fantastic at covering these events either. But Channel 9 was the only one that told reporters to literally go right up to the police line and just shove cameras in everyone's faces. I'm going to be censoring anyone's names going forward because, even if their statements correct in that, they're literally in shock, and then all of a sudden 9 News turns up and shoves a camera in the face, tells them to start speaking now. Because people are in shock from witnessing, a mother being stabbed to death. Their brains can't function. They'll start shopping one day and then this shit happens. But of course, since this is technically copyrighted material and 9 News, and I'm probably quite, DMCA happy, guess I'm gonna have to fire up my old friend here. Oh, how I've missed you. Anyway, do your thing, old friend. I trust in you.
Just been told that you've been helping out. Can you tell us what happened?
The baby got stabbed. The mum got stabbed, and the mum came over with the baby and threw it at me, and was holding the baby. It looked pretty bad, but yeah.
And how were you able to help out?
Just holding the baby and trying to compress the baby, and same with the mother, trying to compress the blood from stopping and calling ambulance and police.
Just look at them. They're scared shitless out of their minds. They just witnessed someone being stabbed to death and a baby being stabbed, and reporters how severe do you think the injuries to the baby are? Let me know your thoughts. Talk for us. Well, shoving the microphone in their faces. Talk for us. Give us more info on this horrible baby stabbing with lots of blood in it. Give us info. Hey, speaking about babies being stabbed to death, check out how 9 News initially covered all of this.
First tonight, the unfolding rampage at Sydney's Bondi Junction Westfield shopping centre. 6 innocent people are dead, with other shoppers rushed to hospital. All were attacked by a man armed with a knife and on a rampage through the busy centre.
Westfield Bondi Junction, it's always busy on a Saturday, but mingling in the crowd of shoppers today, a man on a deadly mission. Wearing an Australian Rugby League jersey and wielding a hunting knife, a shopper bravely confronts him before backing away. He was lucky, others weren't.
I came out of the hairdresser and I seen a gentleman chasing the attacker with a knife, and then he was shouting that you've just stabbed my wife, and then I didn't really know what to do because he was literally next to me, and then we all went back into the hairdressing shop where we were, and we all stayed inside, and then the attacker then got up the escalator, and then we didn't see him again.
The man was stalking the floors. One of his victims, a 9-month-old baby, stabbed at least once in the stomach.
What the fuck is this 9 News? Is this supposed to even pretend to be some kind of actual journalistic attempt at reporting about what happened in the shopping centre? Because there's the baby being carted off into the ambulance, front and centre, high definition, with fresh stab wounds and everything. The community at the epicentre of this bloodbath of baby guts and mass stabbings and deaths has truly been rattled. Thank you for your coverage, 9 News. I guess this is the problem with sensationalised news, which I think is technically classified as entertainment. Legally speaking, of course, but, Like 7 Australian citizens have died plus the attacker, but let's just say 6 Australian citizens have died, and you're turning this into some kind of campy horror movie with baby blood and guts strewn around the shopping centre. The very first page you see whenever you click on 9 News, their main website isn't much better either. Let's see, 6 shoppers dead in an attack at a shopping mall, how the attack in the shopping mall unfolded, how the attack in the shopping mall unfolded, how the attack in the shopping mall unfolded, and how the attack in the shopping mall unfolded. Going back to 9 News, they're really milking the titties dry of this attack, even though a politician just got convicted of rape. 9 News has only dedicated one story to the predator politician. It's my dog barking. First I gotta deal with birds, now I gotta deal with the dog. I'm leaving it in because I've had to cut and edit so much of this audio out already. And one of the little droplets of info they've just pulled out of this story is some distant family member of some radio announcer was one of the victims. Just to save you a click, it's the distant cousin of the wife of one of the radio announcer. Someone who's only vaguely related to the wife of someone who's vaguely famous in Australia. Come on, 9 News, you don't really need to run the footage of that and the footage and some CCTV footage of what happened before the attack of the attacker just like ordering coffee or something. It's not even a slow news today. I mean, I mentioned like maybe a minute ago that some former staffer in Parliament was convicted of rape. Like actually convicted somehow. Like it's damn near tough to even, or damn near impossible to even acknowledge the fact that like one sports teacher of one of Australia's most elite private schools was a bit of a diddler. Like forget conviction, it's even impossible for police to recognise that something like that happened in Australia.
Heavily armed police rallied on the top floor of the complex before entering the building.
Okay, now this right here, this is actually dangerous as fuck. This is the true danger of what can go wrong if you never, ever stop reporting, even when you've run out of stuff to report on. I think by the time this sort of final cut of the day was broadcast, the whole event was over. But if 9 News was reporting this live and showed that footage, that means anyone can see the initial police movements as they go in to subdue the suspect. This includes anyone who has a phone who's connected to mobile data, including the suspect himself. If they actually broadcast those moments live, that's going to be like a basic breach of safety. Because the whole point of bringing the police into a situation like this is, of course, to subdue, take out the attacker, so to stop the attacker from being a threat. If that's broadcast live, the attacker knows exactly where the police are coming from. I would be very shocked if there's not some kind of, media standard, something that tells the media not to broadcast police moments live. Because back during the 1972 Summer Olympics in Germany, there was some kind of fringe terror group from Palestine who took the entire Israeli Olympic team hostage. And for some strange reason, German media at the time broadcast everything they possibly could about the hostage situation live, including the exact places where the police were, and stuff like how the police planned to enter the hotel room where the hostages were. You know what hotels have as standard, right? Televisions. And what's the most bog standard cable service that all televisions get? The news. And who was in control of the hotel room at that time? The terrorists. So during the hostage situation, the terrorists simply just turned on the news and they could find out exactly where the police were and where the police were planning to shoot them. And the terrorists realised that, well, they were definitely outnumbered and how well positioned the German police were. They saw that on the news and just decided to kill every single hostage. And that was that. That happened nearly 50 years ago, and somehow 9 News has not learned from that. Because that's just showing the attackers where the police are so they can either rush in and kill them or just avoid the area entirely altogether. Also, side note, Israel, just give up on Jerusalem. You don't own it, you don't control it. Just give up and make Tel Aviv the capital. This stupid, needlessly sensationalised reporting has made me appreciate ABC that much more. Sure, they too put the Bondi Junction attack on the front page as their first story because it was the thing that was happening, but they also report on every other thing that was happening, and they also clearly label, what is investigative journalism and what is just their fluff pieces. They clearly label and categorise the two, so at least you know what you're getting into. Not knocking on useless opinion pieces, it's technically what I do, and hey, it keeps the news economy running. Sometimes real, boring investigative journalism needs to be labelled as such, just so we don't have bloody idiots running around screaming that there's baby guards all over Bondi.